What's up, guys? TJ
And Ian.
here at the Freakopolis Geekery with another pop culture icon as a 5th edition D&D character.
Chewbacca.
Yes, we're doing the one, the only Chewbacca today.
He will be joining our roster of 5th level characters that we've been creating out of pop culture icons, including Darth Vader. Who else have we done? Batman.
Joker, Batman, the Hulk.
Yep.
I think that pretty much rounds it out. But yeah, we like doing the Darth Vader. I thought he might be my favorite character we've made so far.
He was badass.
So we thought we'd revisit the Star Wars universe and do a fan favorite.
Chewbacca.
Yeah, who I think should be pretty interesting. I think this will turn out really cool.
Yeah.
He has a few defining traits that we're going to try and hit today during this character creation, and they are as follows.
Key attributes we're trying to hit is big and strong and furry.
Yeah, I mean, clearly very furry.
Yes.
He's
But
always-
also an imposing figure.
Yeah, like 7 feet tall, and they're strong in that he bashes people back, he rips people's arms off,
Oh yeah.
throws them over their heads and stuff. So
In Solo, he did some crazy moves that
Yeah.
showed off his strength. So yeah. Not to mention, another thing that you can't have without Chewbacca is his iconic weapon, the bowcaster.
yeah, seen right there. And we know he's used it throughout all the movies, and it packs a punch.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna have to find a weapon that really can lay out some damage.
Mhm.
But it's pretty much a crossbow.
Essentially,
Like a
yeah.
laser crossbow. So we should be able to check that one off pretty easily. Thirdly,
Piloting and navigation. He's a damn good first mate.
he is, yeah, first mate to Han Solo on the Millennium Falcon, and he's quite good at it.
Mhm.
So nice. And then up next,
Finally, survival. Being a Wookiee from Kashyyyk, they live a pretty difficult life.
yeah, not only like on their planet, but he's been imprisoned,
Yep.
traded as a slave on the battlefield. He's a survivor for sure.
Yeah, he makes it through it all.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. And I think finally one thing I'd like to add and try to hit if we can is he speaks a language not everyone can understand.
Yeah, he
so-
doesn't necessarily speak common,
Right.
so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, which a lot of our characters up until this point have spoke common and pretty much solely common. So
Yep.
I wonder if we could find something today that twists that a little bit.
Sounds good.
So in addition to trying hitting these 4 or 5 points, we have some other basic rules that we're going to lay out.
Yep, we use the standard array as found on page 15 of the player's handbook. That way all our characters are relatively balanced, and there's no reason why one should have like a 30 strength or something. Even though Chewbacca could decently have a 22 strength or something
Yeah.
like that, we're trying to build these characters as put forward in the hardcover books.
Yeah, and that keeps them all on an even playing field, allows them to be truly playable in a pretty much any D&D game.
Yep.
These are playable characters, not just like super powerful NPCs.
Yeah.
And then finally, if we feel the need to, we might give them some magic items just to sort of flesh out some characterization and give them some neat perks and stuff.
Yep.
So.
And we only go to 5th level because it's only so long a show.
Right, yeah, and that lets you get some real, you're sinking your teeth in at that point.
Oh yeah.
Cool, so I think we're pretty much ready to go. Let's get started with Chewbacca, once again using Roll20 and the
Character Mancer. Cool.
Nice. Okay, so we'll get started right here. Choose a race.
Alright, so we had some discussion on this. What race is Chewbacca?
So you have the classic ones found in the player's handbook: Dragonborn, Dwarf, Elf, Gnome, Half-Elf, Half-Orc, Halfling, Human, Tiefling. But we also have Volo's Guide to Monsters, and that includes some different playable races, including
Azamarg, Furbolgs, Goliaths, Kenku, Lizardfolk, Tabaxi, and more. And we pretty much landed on Furbolg.
yeah, it also includes ideas for playing sort of goblinoids and monsters, and I sort of argued for Bugbear for a while just because I think physically sort of similar looking.
Yep.
But Furbolg also makes a lot of sense. So I think we'll probably land on Furbolg.
Sounds good. So, as a Furbolg, your Wisdom score increases by 2 and your Strength increases by 1. This
Okay.
makes good sense, I'd say.
Strength by 1, Wisdom by 2.
Yep.
How long
Furbolgs-
do they live?
Well,
he said what in Han Solo? He said he was like 196. Or
Yeah,
something like that.
and
so-
this seems to make good sense. A Furbolg reaches adulthood around 30, and the oldest of them can live for 500 years.
Right, that's
So,
sort of
yeah.
middle age. Yeah, all right,
Yep.
I'll say, I think it was 196. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it was definitely like
Way up there. Yeah.
pretty significant.
Furbolgs are between 7 and 8 feet tall and weigh between 240 and 300 pounds. Your size is medium.
It's like the very limits of medium.
Yes.
Speed.
30 feet.
We left alignment behind because we're going to come back to that.
Yep.
It's different than the race. Language proficiencies.
You have the ability to communicate in a limited manner with beasts and plants. Otherwise,
we'll say
they call it speech of beast and leaf. That's an interesting one. Otherwise, they come standardly being able to read and write Common, Elvish, and Giant, but we kind of wanted to leave Common out. So Elvish and Giant, maybe.
I mean, he can understand Common.
Yeah, he can.
So you would just have to role play it.
Yep.
If you really wanted to. Elvish and Giant.
Yep.
Wow, they get like a lot of
They
languages.
do, yeah.
So he probably speaks in Giant.
Yeah, I'd say that makes
seems
the most sense. Yeah.
Chewy like. Yeah. Skill proficiencies.
Skill proficiencies. I don't think anything in particular.
Nothing for furballs.
Nope.
Weapons, armor, tools.
Nothing.
And then what kind of traits do they get?
They get some really interesting traits. So they get Furbolg Magic. You can cast Detect Magic and Disguise Self with this trait, using your Wisdom score for your spellcasting ability. And you can do that once per long rest.
Disguise self.
Once per long rest. That's some pretty useful stuff. You don't necessarily see Chewbacca using Disguise Self, but
No, but he is kind of he's like guerrilla fighter.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
I guess that's more sneak or something like that, but
and then they get Hidden Step. As a bonus action, you can magically turn invisible until the start of your next turn. It's a cool one. Otherwise, they get Powerful Build, like Goliaths.
okay.
So they can act as though they're large when it comes to pushing, dragging, or lifting, which plays pretty well into how strong Chewbacca is.
And powerful build.
Yep.
It's an interesting set of racial
It
abilities.
is, yeah.
You act as large for...
Pushing and dragging and lifting. Otherwise, Furbolgs, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. There's no, like, sub-races of Furbolg or anything like that, so...
Nice. Okay, cool. So that, gets his race underway. Some interesting abilities, some pretty decent, an interesting set of ability score improvements.
Yep.
Strength and wisdom. I suppose makes for a good cleric.
Or a good ranger.
Yeah, that's true too.
Coolio.
Nice. Alignment was left.
Right, what alignment is Chewbacca?
Dead.
That's an interesting one. I'd say potentially there's a good argument for chaotic good.
Yeah, I think so.
There is a potential argument for maybe chaotic or neutral good, as he works with Solo a lot, who tends to do a lot of neutral good stuff.
Yeah, I think neutral. Yeah, I mean he's a smuggler. He's Han Solo's right hand man.
Generally doing good stuff, but mostly
Pretty
looking
good
out for
dude.
themselves. Yeah. I think that makes the most sense. Neutral good.
Okay, cool.
Coolio.
Nice. All right, and
His spellcasting ability
innate
was
spellcasting was
wisdom. Yep.
Yeah.
Coolio.
And 0 cantrips. I guess it probably doesn't actually. He doesn't get any spells from it.
Not necessarily.
Actually, he does, but.
All right, so class. This is gonna.
Yeah, I think there's a couple options here.
There is. Barbarian could make sense.
That will play into that big, strong, and furry.
Big, strong, and fury.
Yeah, and survival. They get survival.
That's true as well.
proficiency.
There's an argument for fighter for sure. He's very proficient with a good many weapons.
Right. And there's also ranger.
Ranger also makes good sense.
I really think I'm sort of in camp fighter. His personalization doesn't really come from the fact that he would be a ranger.
No.
It's from some of the other stuff, and fighter is sort of an all-around hero type.
Yeah, no, it makes good sense. He's
And
very
plus, he'll be very capable with his bowcaster
Yeah.
and stuff. So.
as well as in melee. As a
Yeah.
fighter, they're pretty much proficient in all sorts of combat scenarios. So I think he could very well be a fighter. He's just rounded enough, you know? He's not so specialized at being a ranger that we would consider him one.
Let's see. All right, so skill proficiencies.
Survival.
Boom,
Yes.
Check that off.
Nice. What else we got?
I think athletics makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. That will
definitely.
play into some of that big, strong, and fury. So yeah, athletics.
Proficient with all sorts of stuff as a fighter. That's pretty cool.
Which makes pretty good sense. You know, Chewie's pretty capable.
Okay. So,
Fighting style.
what type of fighter is he? I think there's a good argument for archery, being his focus on the bowcaster. Anything else that you would bring up out of those?
Definitely not defense,
No.
dueling, great weapon, protection, two-weapon. Probably archery, I think.
I think so, yeah.
He really
That's-
lets loose with that bowcaster.
Yeah, I like the look of it. So you get a +2 bonus to attack rolls with ranged weapons, which,
Nice.
I mean, with the bowcaster, he'll be deadly accurate.
Nice.
Sweet deal. So that's fighters are pretty damn simple first level.
Yeah, second wind also. Limited well of stamina that you can draw upon to protect yourself from harm on your turn. You can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you can use it again.
Pretty useful
Equipment,
stuff.
Yeah, he gets a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So, his abilities as a fighter, he's going to probably want high physical abilities.
Right, and remember we're using standard array, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8.
Mm-hmm.
So we have one dump stat, and then some either average or above average.
Okay, so probably his strength, dexterity, and constitution are going to be above average.
Yep, and wisdom gets a nice bonus. He's not really going to need it, but it helps with a lot of skill checks.
Yeah, if
So-
he multi-classes at some point, he might make good use of that wisdom bonus, but...
Sure.
Okay, so...
Well, do we want dex to be 15 or strength to be 16?
I think he has to have a high strength.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our key attributes.
So we put
So we
the
put the 15 in here.
15 in
He
strength,
gets a +1 from Furbolg.
giving him a 16, which is pretty sweet.
I think dex.
14?
He's going to be using that ranged weapon a lot.
He definitely is.
So,
Which leaves him with a 13 con.
and we're down to the sort of more ethereal
Yeah.
attributes, which makes sense.
Chewbacca is... he's pretty wise. He's more intelligent than you would think. I know...
I feel like we should just do like 8 in wisdom
To
so he has
even
a
it out?
10, yeah, and then we could put a 10 in something else.
Then he'll have a really hard time multi-classing into anything that isn't physical.
Yeah, I mean, I don't picture him going into anything but fighter.
Fair enough. So we could have really even stats with a 10 wisdom, a 10 charisma, and a 12 intelligence. I don't picture him as, everyone falls in love with him, but he's not
Yeah.
particularly charismatic. In fact,
No.
he's known galaxy-wide for ripping people's arms out of their sockets, so,
Yeah.
I would say that's not a very charismatic
All right,
idea.
so maybe scrap that idea. Maybe we'll just do 12, 10, 8.
8? That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Cool.
12.
10 and 8, which gives us our stats thus far for a level 1 Chewbacca. Background. Slave.
I think we were talking about this with somebody in the store the other day. I think there's a really strong argument for Sailor,
Ooh, there definitely is.
given that he's a pilot and
Yeah.
navigator and stuff like that. And
Okay.
that's one of our key attributes. In the Star Wars universe, it's not a sailor. He's a spaceship pilot.
Right.
But in a D&D type setting,
That's sailing the seas.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the astral seas or whatever, but sailor makes good sense, and I think that's a good idea, yeah. So
I mean, there's nothing really else that jumps out, right?
Outlander, as Wookiees
Yeah,
tend to
probably.
be, but he's actually part of a society, so
Right, yeah. He
he
hangs around with key players in the universe
Yeah.
and stuff, so I think Sailor will give him that.
I think that's
some of that
interesting.
flavor.
I mean, this of course is all stuff that we're just trying to justify our decisions. You could build Chewbacca very differently,
Yeah.
but this is what we're going with. So Sailor, you sailed on this on a seagoing or star-going vessel for years. In that time, you face down mighty storms, monsters of the deep, and those who wanted to sink your craft to the bottomless depths. Nice and simple. So you become proficient in athletics and perception. He's already proficient in.
All right, so we'll get perception.
And then as a fighter, he can be proficient in
Something other than athletics.
Yep. Animal handling, history, insight, intimidation.
Yeah. Okay.
So and then he gets
to
athletics by being a sailor. Yes. Makes good sense.
Tool proficiencies.
Navigator's tools. Sure.
That's an option. It is.
Nice. Language proficiencies. Nothing in particular.
Pirate speak.
Arr.
Custom background feature.
Ship's passage. When you need to, you can secure free passage on a sailing ship for yourself and your adventuring companions. I think that makes good sense.
Yeah, Chewie probably does that all the time in the Star Wars universe. So, when needed, you can secure ship's passage for you and your friends.
For free. Passage. Okay, so now we'll be moving on to the personality traits being ideals, bonds, flaws, and personality traits. So, let's go through the list for sailors. My friends know they can rely on me no matter what.
Probably.
Sure,
yes.
Yeah. I work hard so that I can play hard when the work is done. Not necessarily. I mean, he does enjoy that weird chess game.
Right. But, yeah, he's not.
I enjoy sailing into new ports, making new friends over a flagon of ale. Nah. I stretch the truth for the sake of a good story. No. To me, a tavern brawl is a nice way to get to know a new city. Maybe a little,
sometimes,
yeah. Cantina brawl.
Right.
I never pass up on a friendly wager that's more solo than Chewy. My language is as foul as a Atyug nest.
I mean, in a sense,
but no one would know. And I like my job done well, especially if I can convince someone else to do it. No.
I think it's the friends one.
Yeah, my friends know they can rely on me no matter what. Absolutely. Chewbacca exemplifies this in the expanded universe, which is now not canon. He straight up dies for all his friends, like saves them. So yeah.
Ideals.
Respect. The thing that keeps me in the keeps the ship together is a mutual respect between captain and crew. He respects Solo quite a bit.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah. Fairness. We all do the work, so we all share in the rewards. Freedom. The sea is freedom. The freedom to go anywhere and do anything. He definitely, that's a big part of him. Mastery. I'm a predator, and the other ships on the sea are my prey. No. I'm committed to my crewmates, not to ideals. Kinda, yeah, but not quite as much as the other ones. And aspiration, someday I'll own my own ship and chart my own destiny. No. So, freedom. The sea is freedom, the freedom to go anywhere and do anything. The sea is freedom.
Yeah, the sea is... That's fine.
Cool. Bond. I'm loyal to my captain first, everything else second.
Pretty much.
Probably, yeah.
I think we can just...
there's no arguing that.
It's funny when you start working through these personality traits. It's like Chewie definitely is a sailor.
Yep.
Loyal to my captain, everything else after that.
Yep. And then flaw. I follow orders even if I think they're wrong. No. I'll say
about having a temper.
Once I start drinking, it's hard for me to stop. No. My pride will probably lead to my destruction. No. I can't help but pocket loose coins. No. Once someone questions my courage, I never back down, no matter how dangerous the situation. A little bit, but no one questions Chewbacca's courage.
No.
So no, it definitely should. His flaw should be based around his rage.
Yeah. Sometimes I just gotta blow some steam off. I don't know how you would phrase it, but sometimes my rage gets the better of me.
Sure, yeah, that makes good sense. Cool.
Nice.
So that's what we have for personality and skills from his background, being a sailor, and key attributes. Awesome. I think we're doing pretty well here.
I think it's coming together. We'll take a look after we get level 1 done and see how many of these key attribute things we checked off. So,
equipment, a bunch of stuff from sailing the seas.
Yeah, I'm just gonna click a few of these things.
Sure.
A net.
Okay. You could probably use the hand axes.
Okay.
Explorer's pack. Cool, nice and simple.
Just to fill it out,
that
so.
equipment doesn't really come into play as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, we're just here creating it.
Spells, fighters do not get spells.
And he gets max hit points at first level. In fact, we give them max hit points
every level just for the sake of simplicity.
Yeah.
Feats,
Nice.
Nothing quite yet.
No feats.
And in review, he's looking pretty good.
Furbolg fighter, archery fighting style, with the abilities listed above, sailor background.
Cool.
Apply those changes and take a look.
Head on back to fighter so that we can
Level him up. So, big, strong, and fury.
Yep.
Furry. Jeez, I'm going to do that a million times. He's definitely big. Furbolg's quite large. He's furry in a sense. They're not like Chewbacca furry, but
yeah, they could be if you want to flavor them that way. You know, they are a furrier race of people.
Definitely.
And strong, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's very strong.
Yeah.
Iconic weapon we're working on.
yeah, he's got that crossbow, but we'll see how we can massage it to make it iconic. Piloting, navigation, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. As a sailor, you really kind of lean into those things, and survival. Yeah,
We gave him proficiency in that.
He
right?
is.
So, boom.
looking pretty good. Yeah.
And sort of like I said earlier, their language thing, that's sort of already checked off too. He's, role playing, we speak him in giant.
Yep.
Alright, we're almost done building this character.
Coolio. So at second level, fighters super simple to level up as you go along. They get a very useful ability and only one ability from second level, Action Surge, which allows you to, starting at second level, you can push yourself beyond your normal limits for a moment. On your turn, you can take one additional action on top of your regular action and a possible bonus action. So, when he fires his crossbow, he can really put the focus in and shoot it twice in one round, which will hit pretty hard. Yeah, at max level, he'll end up with 55 HP, being one of the tougher characters we've made thus
the only
far.
other one higher than that was Hulk.
Yeah.
Like
70? Yeah.
Something crazy. Alright, so you said
Action Surge. You can take one more standard action.
Once per long rest.
Short or long rest. Interesting.
Take one extra standard action.
Which also means that he could sprint across the battlefield at a ridiculous pace, or, get in there, shoot the bow, sprint towards them, and then make a melee attack. Like, there's a lot he could do with that.
Make 2 attacks, right? Can you do that?
Yeah, oh yeah. So that is all they get for second level, yep.
Third level coming up.
Third level is Martial Archetype. This is an important one. So we can choose Champion, Battle Master. Battle Master is a huge thing, or Eldritch Knight. There's a few other ones, I think, in Xanathars. We might give those a look. Champion could make good sense. He's a champion of Wookiees.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Arcane Archer, which is pretty cool, but if it has to deal with spell casting, I feel like that's not.
It's not him, yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna focus on make the weapon more magical than Chewbacca, yeah.
So what does champion necessarily, what kind of abilities does it get?
The archetypical champion focuses on the development of raw physical power honed to deadly perfection. Sure,
it does sound good.
It's pretty broad, but I think it works better than Battle Master or Eldritch Knight.
Improved critical?
Yeah, they just get a few
That's the only one he's going to get at this point.
Yep. Your weapon attack score a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20. That you have a 10% chance to crit on any attack you make. I just don't see any better option than Champion. Cool. Champion, improved critical. Cool. So now at third level, this is when we could decide, is he going to multi-class or is he just going to go straight fighter?
I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
He'll end up, it's going to be super simple to put him together. Maybe we'll just put a lot of focus in on his bow. But he'll end up, of course, at fourth level coming up with his ability score improvement, which could be super useful. And then he gets an extra attack at fifth level.
Right.
If you go straight into fighter, a fifth level fighter is a foe to be reckoned with. Like, they're really powerful.
I think the ability score improvement is going to be key, I think.
Yeah, he kind of needs it to bring up that dexterity and his constitution a little bit, or potentially just his constitution with a feat.
Right. Yeah, we'll take a look at feats. I think we just go straight fighter.
Sounds good to me.
I think ranger there's an argument for, but I don't like the idea of him casting spells and stuff.
No, that's not really Chewbacca.
Yeah. Crit on
19 or 20, any attack. That is ridiculously powerful. Alright, so bringing him up to 4th level, we have our ability score improvement, or feat. So we'll take a quick look at the feats.
It's a pretty short list in 5th edition.
Yeah, as far as fighters go, but they still have... you can choose to go Battle Master, which has a level of depth to it that is a little more... You have a lot of options.
Yeah, I just mean the feats, though.
Oh, yeah.
There's like...
Not as many.
A couple dozen of them or something.
Yeah. Okay, so feats as far as Constitution is concerned. Is that what we're going to be looking for specifically?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Durable. Hardy and resilient. You get 1 to Constitution. When you roll a hit die to regain hit points, the minimum number of hit points you gain is twice your Constitution modifier. So when he rests up, he heals up very quickly.
That's not max hit points.
No.
That'd be interesting. Other direction. Oh yeah. Okay. Crossbow expert. What's that give though?
You ignore the loading quality of crossbows, which you are with which you are proficient. Being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose a disadvantage on your ranged attack rolls. When you use the attack option and attack with a one-handed weapon, you can use the bonus action to attack with a loaded hand crossbow you're holding. It's a little too finesse for him, yeah.
That quite fits.
Athlete increases dex or strength. Charger doesn't really increase anything as far as I could see. He is lucky, but...
Sometimes.
Yeah.
They get on a run.
Mage Slayer, no. Moderately armored, no.
It's resilient.
Resilient. Increase the chosen ability score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You gain proficiency in saving throws using the chosen ability. Is he already proficient with Constitution? Yes. So it's not really a good choice as far as that's concerned. Savage Attacker. Once per turn, when you roll damage for a melee weapon attack, you can re-roll weapon damage. Nope. Shield Master Sharpshooter. That one can be pretty sweet. Tough is a good choice.
Tough, just hit points.
Yeah, it increases by an amount equal to twice your level. So he would get
Weapon Master. No, it's 4 weapons, and fighters already have that. I don't know. Yeah, I mean.
It's just not too many that increase Constitution.
Yeah, I don't think there's any feats in Xanathars
that are really going to help with that.
Yeah.
Sharpshooter is probably a good choice. You've mastered ranged weapons and can make shots that others find impossible. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage. Your ranged weapon attacks ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. Before you make an attack with a ranged weapon, you can choose to take a -5 penalties to the attack roll and add +10 to damage. I like the sound of that. It doesn't increase his Constitution.
Let's see. I don't think they have
anything for furbolgs
in this.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I mean, sure, we could say sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter. Which leaves him not quite as tough.
Right.
He's still got a good amount of hit points, and with second wind, he'll.
I feel like we should just do ability score improvements.
Okay, sure. No, that's fine. I don't think we quite found anything that works too well.
Yeah.
I think you got to unlock it. Yeah. With that. Yep. Cool. All right. So where are his ability scores going?
So we can have 1 in 2 different ability scores, or 2
in 1. It looks like that there's definitely a 1 going in Constitution.
Yeah.
At least. Maybe 2.
15 con?
Yeah.
Alright.
Which leaves him with some freaking even stats.
It's going to give him another 5 hit
Another
points.
5 hit points, bringing him up to 60, which is pretty sweet.
That's pretty sweet. Okay, so, and then he gets extra attack at level 5.
Yes, he does. Makes multiple attacks. So whenever he chooses to take the attack option, he can attack twice. Now then, that pretty much leaves us with his equipment.
I like the things he would have gotten from Sharpshooter, but I just don't feel like it's very characteristic.
No, not quite.
You may attack twice. Yeah, fighters super easy to level up.
They really are.
No spells.
Though he
Pretty
does have
easy.
some cool utility stuff from being a Furbog.
Yeah, definitely. Hiding and sort of hit and run guerrilla tactic stuff.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
5 hit dice. Now, what can we do to make his
Does
crossbow?
he only have 1 second wind?
Oh yeah, and his proficiency at level 5 goes up to a +3.
Okay.
They took care of that,
right.
yeah. Does he get an extra second wind? I don't believe so.
Not until oh, that's
Extra attack. Second wind. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, they get a bunch of additional stuff at later levels. Like at level 17, they get another action surge.
Wow.
Yada yada. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, yeah, I mean, that heavy crossbow is going to be his key weaponry. That's his iconic
Bowcaster.
weapon, bowcaster. Yeah.
So one thing I'm seeing, his attack is actually a +7, due to his fighting style.
Oh yeah. Good point.
So he gets an additional. Where?
Plus dex +2.
Yep, +2.
That's damage.
Oh, up there. Yeah, the attack.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
So he's gonna be throwing a 7, and with a heavy crossbow, it's a D10 +2 piercing. But there's got to be some additional things we can throw on there to make it more like a bowcaster.
Yeah, I mean, I think a +1 is a natural.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
addition.
magical
Yeah.
weapon. Yeah.
Do you think there's anything inside the dungeon mat? Is there? Any
I
magical-
was thinking to give it the siege modifier, which causes it to do more damage against structures. Because a bowcaster, as
Yeah.
far as that kind of stuff is concerned, really blasts away whatever cover you have and stuff. It's a much larger projectile than your average blaster.
Right. I like
so,
that.
+1 siege crossbow. And then, I mean, anyone can feel free to throw on some additional effects like twice per day add an extra D10 fire damage, or, some kind of bonus little effects like that.
So we'll say, we'll just call it a siege crossbow.
Sure, +1.
+1, so that's gonna add to the
Another +1 to hit,
So is it a +3?
and then +1 to damage.
+1, and he's gonna be critting on 19s and 20s.
Yeah,
So
and if he hits structures, he deals double damage against them, which means it can easily blow down doors, or knock open chests, or even walls. All sorts of stuff could be torn to shreds by that. Cool. So there is a bowcaster, at least to some degree, as far as a level 5 character could reasonably be equipping. It's not like a legendary mythic item of sorts. It's just a cool
Right.
weapon.
cool. So I mean, that was pretty straightforward once we got level 1 done.
Yep.
You want to run through what we've got?
Sure. So looking over, we have Chewbacca, a fighter level 5. We decided to turn him into a Furbog, and he has a sailor background. We decided his alignment should be neutral good, given his tendency to team up with Solo, and
He does good stuff,
but mostly he's working for himself
Yeah.
and his crew.
Strength of 16, Dex of 14, Con of 15, Intelligence
10.
straight average
Yeah.
10, Wisdom 14, Charisma 8.
It's good stuff. Leaving him with a +3 proficiency bonus at level 5, giving her a +6 to strength, +2 to con, or +2 to dexterity, +5 to con, 0 intelligence, 2 wisdom, -1 charisma, which pretty well covers his toughness and strength.
Definitely. Up for skills.
He's
he
proficient
is
with-
proficient with athletics, intimidation, perception, and survival. So not a ton of skills, but definitely some useful ones.
Yeah, and the ones that make sense for Chewbacca. You literally watch him use those abilities, so...
Pretty solid passive perception.
yeah, it's hard to sneak past him. Interesting. He's got
And he's-
navigator's tools as a sailor and a bunch of
Proficient in a
proficiencies
bunch
being
of
a
stuff.
fighter.
13 armor class.
We could give him totally different armor.
Yeah.
You don't see him wearing
no,
heavy,
he
like
hardly ever
medium
wears
armor or anything.
I
Yeah.
think it's fair to give him. I think he's wearing leather.
Leather,
now,
yeah.
which it's just his skin, basically. Initiative of +2. That's from Dex. Speed of 30.
Yeah. He ends up with 60 hit points. 5 hit dice, obviously.
And this cool siege crossbow of +8 to hit, crits on 19s and 20s.
Yeah.
Deals extra damage against
Structures, and yep.
and ends up doing a 1d10
Plus 3, being a magic weapon. Yep.
And you could do that twice around.
Yeah, he could shoot
Sometimes
that
3.
quite a few times. And some hand axes, just when he gets
Yeah.
up close. Normally we see Chewbacca using his fists, but not every character we make can be a grappler.
In terms of his background, his personality traits from his background, his friends know that they can rely on him no matter what. Freedom, the sea is freedom.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He was a slave.
I'm loyal to the captain.
And then everything else after that.
Yeah.
Solo's his best friend. He'd never betray him.
Sometimes my rage gets the better of me.
For sure. He has a second wind, which he can use to heal up in the middle of combat. And his fighting style is archery, which gives him an additional +2 to hit with ranged attacks. That's good stuff.
Also,
he's a Furbolg.
Furbolg magic. He's Detect Magic, Disguise Self, Hidden Step, turns him invisible, powerful build, gives him bonus to carrying. Ship's Passage, he can find a ship in any port pretty much.
Which is a cool little RP ability.
Oh, definitely.
Action Surge allows him to take an additional action like running very quickly or making multiple attacks in one round. His martial archetype is Champion, which gave him improved critical, so he can crit on 19s and 20s, a 10% chance to hit you really hard, and then an extra attack every single round. This is a guy who's just proficient straight up at being in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Although he kind of wants to be outside of it, though.
No, right, on the outskirts, but, you know, if he needs to, he can move right in and be devastating as well.
Nice. All right, so let's take a look and see if we check these off. Big, strong, and furry.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like 7 to 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Just like Peter Mayhew. Fairly strong, not obscenely, but he's proficient in the checks. He's got a pretty decent skill points in it, plus athletics, so strong is up there. And furbolgs can be pretty furry.
Yeah. An iconic weapon. Now, there's a lot of ways that you could make the bowcaster more iconic. I just kind of quickly thought up a way to give it some magical attributes that would make it seem a little more like a bowcaster. But it's iconic enough. You know, he uses the crossbow, and it has some special attributes.
And then piloting navigation. Definitely a lot of that coming from his sailor background.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a sailor, you get navigator's tools, and you're proficient with them, and you probably have a few maps and whatnot.
Survival. He's got that great con score, nice amount of hit points.
Proficient in the skill. So yeah, no, he could definitely survive in a variety of areas and circumstances.
So
Awesome.
let us know how you guys think we did in the comments below. Tune in next week when we do another pop culture icon as a 5th level, 5th edition D&D character.
Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content.
Yeah, you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, freakopolis.com. We're all over the place. So thanks so much for joining us, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.
Catch you later.